Hey guys, welcome to Life as a Full-Time Braider, a safe, transparent, fun place for braiders to connect with their audiences through conversations. Today, I have with me the lovely Lauren from MCR Braids.
Hey, hey.
Before we get into the conversation, I just wanted to do a little icebreaker just to get our brains working.
Yeah.
So, beads or curly ends?
Curly ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shine and jam or gummy?
Shine and jam.
Yeah. I like shine and jam as well. It's really nice.
Mm.
And boho, which everyone is on about today,
Mm-hmm.
or just regular knotless braids.
Boho. Yeah.
So would you like to just introduce yourself a little bit, give us a little bit of background about how you came into braiding?
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to my story. So
Yeah.
I started braiding when I was 10 years old, maybe even before that, just on like brat styles and
Yeah.
stuff. And it was just something that I could do. I don't really remember being taught. I think it's just as a black girl, you need to know how to braid your hair, kind of the basic plait, the basic twist.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was braiding just like friends and family's hair for maybe a good 4 to 5 years. And then there was this hype on Instagram, maybe like 2014,
Yeah.
2015, where loads of people just started Instagram pages because they could braid. So I was like, let me just jump on that.
Yeah.
And I started my Instagram, advertised maybe to friends of friends, maybe a friend of a friend of a friend, which was quite nerve-wracking, but I was expanding a little bit. By expansion, I mean I had like 200 followers maybe, but that was something at the time. And then I stopped braiding for a bit when I was 18 because I went to university in Manchester, hence why I'm here. And after uni, I dropped out of uni and I decided to start braiding again and actually make it official. So then MCR Braids was born, basically. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's the journey.
Yeah. All right, now Lauren, you've introduced yourself. Could you give us a little bit of a background, like maybe a little rundown of your family and stuff like that, just so we can know who the child Lauren was?
Yeah, I grew up in Birmingham, and then obviously I moved to Manchester when I was 18, so been in Birmingham for most of my life. I've got one sister and just lived with my mum and dad and my sister. Me and my sister are really close. And in terms of like my hair journey growing up, I remember this very like vividly. So it used to be like a weekly process basically. Yeah. So my mum would do my hair on Sunday, and then on the Saturday, at the end of the week, she would wash it, blow dry it, and straighten it with the hot comb. And I'm not gonna lie, I hate that process.
The hot comb is the devil, I must say.
I love my mom,
yeah,
but I genuinely used to dread that process. Yeah. And I think it is so relatable for like many black women of like this generation. But yeah, I feel like for a lot of black women like of our kind of generation, it was quite a traumatizing experience. And I'm not blaming our parents because they kind of didn't know any different either. Like everything's just a learning curve, isn't it? But yeah, I used to get cane rolls. That's a debate in itself, like cane rolls or corn rolls. I feel like Jamaicans, Caribbean say cane rolls. Yeah. And people of African descent say corn roll.
Maybe
I now
we
say
should have
corn
a
roll.
debate, guys, about that one.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I now say corn roll. But I say that because like I feel like stylists are saying corn roll. But yeah, I've grown up saying cane roll. But yeah, so I just get like straight backs on a Sunday, and they used to hurt a lot, I'll be honest. And to be fair, I used to look at like the other girls in primary school because they used to have like, you know, like the bubbles and the twists and everything, or the beads. Bubbles. I didn't get that. Yeah. I didn't really get. I used to sometimes, but yeah, my sister can tell you, we just got the straight backs. Yeah. Like we were the only girls. Like I think it was just easier for my mom to do. And I just remember I couldn't wait until I could do my own hair. My mom always said, like, when you're in secondary school, you can do your own hair, but right now I'm doing it. And I just couldn't wait. And I think, I'm not going to lie, maybe that motivated me to start getting into hair because I was so eager to just do it myself. Because I had my own vision of how I wanted to do it. Exactly, no disrespect to Mumsy, but
no one can imagine the visions that we had.
Yeah, I had my own vision. Half the time it didn't turn out right, but I think, you know, it goes to show my personality now. I'm just very experimental. I'm very trial and error, and then in the end I'll like figure it out basically, and that's kind of what I did with my own hair. So
that's really nice. That's really nice. And I can kind of I was quite lucky. So as one of 5, 1 boy, 4 girls that my mum had,
Oh, wow.
we all had thick hair and it was long. So obviously my mum's white, my dad's Jamaican. So my mum kind of had to figure out from her first child how to do hair.
Yeah.
Otherwise she would have been shooting herself in the foot. But it was like the basic like cornrows. But my one was just one doo-doo plait.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
I loved it at the time, but now I think I hate it. No, I didn't mind it now. But at the time, I hated that one doo-doo plait. Every time.
Looking back at the pictures, you're like, wait,
Yes.
what?
Yes.
What's going on? And I remember getting my first set of braids, actually. I think I was like 12 or something. And everyone was getting braids and extensions in primary school. And my mum just wouldn't let me because she said like the length, like, you know, it's too grown. Who do you think you are? Kind of understand it. I think now, like, it's not bad to add a bit of extensions as long as it's like maybe you add some curls or beads or whatever. But my mum was just not with it. So I couldn't wait until I got my first set of braids. And me and my sister, we loved them so much. So maybe that, like, these questions I didn't even think about. Like, you're actually diving deep into things that I haven't even thought about. But maybe that was what sparked my interest in braiding as well.
Yeah. I remember mine's, and mine's is quite petty. So I couldn't braid at all. And then my cousin, she was younger than me, and she does hair as well. Shout out to you, RJ.
My
Glamhouse.
cousin does hair as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She could braid at the time. And I think it was probably like 9. I was 10, she was 9 or 8 maybe. And then I was like, no way, I cannot have you being younger than me braiding. And then from that day, I taught myself how to braid.
Wow, the shade.
Like, and it was just that. But now, obviously, I'm good at braiding. She's really good at hair as well. So.
Yeah, love that in the family.
Yeah, keep it in the family. That's good. At what stage did you decide to actually take that journey as a full-time braider?
Yeah.
Because I know that full-time braiding is very hard, isn't it? And I feel like we're not credited as much as we should be, or we don't give ourselves that acknowledgement that we are actually doing a great job. So at what stage was it that you thought, you know what, I'm going to stop the 9-to-5 job and then take braiding on as a full-time?
So I think in 2020 maybe, I started MCR Braids officially. I wasn't full-time at that point though. So I was working as a manager in Krispy Kreme. Don't know if I can say where I was working.
I love Krispy Kreme.
It was actually really fun, to be fair. Especially even though it was lockdown, it was quite fun. And I think I realized that I wasn't putting enough effort into my job. And like whatever I do, I like to give 100%. And I felt like this was the turning point for me. So I think I had a client at 8 a.m. and she came all the way from Liverpool. I had a client at 8 a.m., came from Liverpool, and I had work at, I think, 3 o'clock. And I'm not even halfway by like 2:30. And I'm like running this team. So I need to like figure out everyone's breaks and everything and like what like station everyone's going to be on. And at 2:30, I'm not even halfway. So I'm not even thinking about work. I just need to finish this client's hair. And I thought at that moment, I don't think I can do this anymore. Just because I didn't want to let the team down. And I felt like I was like beginning to be late all the time. Even when I was at work, like at Krispy Kreme, I was just thinking about braiding. I was thinking about my clients. I used to go into the staff room, take a quick toilet break and release my availability or make a post, like set an alarm, make a post. Like MCR Braids was always on my mind. And I just thought I can't balance the two. They're also two very different things, because don't get me wrong, I am balancing an academy and a salon, but at least they align. Whereas like the Krispy Kreme job was like nothing to do with braiding. So it was hard to balance the two. And I think maybe it was March the next year, so March 2021, that's when I handed in my notice. And it was really, really hard because I had a vision of like being a general manager in Krispy Kreme. I loved that place, but I just thought, because I love it so much, I have to let go. And because I love braiding more and I can see myself like long-term being a braider, I thought, let's just do it now. So
and that's great as well. And I could resonate with that, because when you said that you basically kind of woke up one day and felt that it wasn't for you anymore, that was exactly like me. So I basically worked in Waitrose for 5 years.
Oh really?
Yeah, 5 years. I started braiding when I was 10, but I was just doing like kids' natural hairs, you know, just a little £20 here, £10 there. And then one day I literally woke up, I got ready for work and everything. I stepped out the door and I was like, I quit.
Wow.
I literally just called them up and was like, I'm done with this. And literally I've been full-time braiding ever since. But it's like, when you know that you're passionate about something, you just have to take that leap.
Yeah.
Because that's what's holding a lot of people stagnant today.
Mm-hmm.
They're scared that stepping out of their comfort zone, they don't know when they're going to get paid if they decide to take this leap into like braiding hair full time, but you just have to do it.
Yeah.
Like the same effort that you was probably putting into the job 9 to 5, you literally just have to put that into yourself.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Just to add to that, I think with a 9 to 5, let's say you want to take a new career leap, like you're a lawyer and you want to be a doctor, the structure is kind of there. Like the role models are there. Like the industry is there. Like the strong industry is there. So you feel more security.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of my fears as a braider, because I couldn't see the end goal. A lot of people were at the start kind of thing. So it was like, I don't know if this is going to like pay the bills. I don't know how far I'm going to go with this, because I can't see anyone doing this, or like I can't see like that millionaire UK braider, let's say. I know like in America it's a bit different, but I couldn't see that. So that's why it was quite hard. And that's probably why people who want to get into braiding are still hesitant.
Yeah.
And I think this platform is really good because it just creates a safe space for people who want to be braiders to kind of look at like people like us now and see, okay, there is a career in it. People are doing it full time, and this is how they've got from A to B. So I think it's really good.
That's amazing as well. And that's amazing as well. And going back to your braiding academy and stuff as well, I'm guessing you do a lot of work with like younger women, like young Black women especially, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you find that? How do you feel like that's going for you at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's going really well, you know. I think a lot of people are interested in braiding. I think it's just, as I mentioned before, they just need that push basically, and they just need to see that structure. So what I've kind of implemented in my academy, which I never used to do before, was my story, because I think that allows people to resonate with it a little bit more, rather than just saying, here's a course, go in, do your thing. I can, like, I've started to incorporate like, okay, here's how I started. I had a 9 to 5 too. I stopped my 9 to 5 and this is how I got into braiding, and these are the mistakes that I made, and I'm going to help you to not make these mistakes.
Yeah, and that's really good. And I feel like that's what the young kids need these days, because obviously when we was younger, we may have had the little odd youth club or that, but nowadays they literally have nothing unless you like are doing extracurricular classes after school, which obviously costs a lot of money now. Yeah, there's nothing out there. So I feel like you taking that step, working with young people, that is actually that will help their well-being, their mental, do you know what I mean, and make them feel a bit more appreciated.
Absolutely. And I think it starts with young people at the end of the day. I think it's harder to persuade someone who is in a 9 to 5 to become a braider. Like if you're in a 9 to 5 now and you want to be a braider, it's really for passion kind of thing. But if you're in school and you want to become a braider, it's because you're exploring careers. You know, like when someone comes into your school and says, you know, I work in engineering, here's what engineering's like. I think more braiders need to go into schools and like spaces where young people are and say, I'm a braider, you can be a braider. Do you know what I mean? So I think it really does start with the young people, because their minds are a lot more open. They're like sponges basically. So. And I think I'm being the person that I needed when I was 15, 16, because I knew that I was really talented in braiding, but I didn't see or speak to any Black hairdresser to be inspired by them kind of thing. So I just thought, maybe not braiding. And then obviously we might talk about it, but like family structures as well, like going into hairdressing, what are you doing? Like, do you not want to be a doctor or a lawyer kind of thing? So I think it was a combination of those two things that stopped me from pursuing that career as early as 15, 16.
Yeah. And that's really good. And going back to the whole family stuff. Now, I have this debate with everybody. Yeah. How do you feel about doing your friends and family's hair for free? Because I have this debate with my siblings all the time. Oh, can you do my daughter's hair? Can you do my daughter's hair? And it's like, I can, but you can pay for it. How do you feel about that?
I think it's an awkward one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think they're never going to pay full price. I think I just need to just be comfortable with that. But I definitely think they can support in different ways. It doesn't have to be financial. It would be nice if it's financial. Yeah. But with my sister, I'm literally doing my sister's hair after this, and she is paying like a discounted price, but she's also helping me with planning my masterclasses. Oh, nice. She helps me with, my sister's works in HR, so she helps me with like the kind of employee side of my business, and we have good chats about that. So I think it's all about how your family can support you as well. Like it's not just do my hair, full stop.
Yeah.
It could be like, could you do my hair, and I'm gonna tell everyone about your business. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just need that reassurance, I think, from friends and family, and it's okay.
Oh, nice. And now you're officially a salon owner, but this is not your first salon, isn't it? You had a salon before.
Yeah.
And now you've moved to a second salon.
Yeah.
Where is your second salon based now?
In the same place.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's next door.
So is it like an apartment kind of like this, like a studio with different rooms?
Yeah, so it's called Phoenix Salon Suites.
Oh, nice.
And it's like the first of its kind in the UK, I think. So it's like, imagine like an apartment complex, as you said, with different suites in it, and they're like different sizes. I think it's really cool because like it creates like a nice environment where like I've still got my own space, but I've got colleagues, let's say, like, so there's a barber next door, there's other braiders, there's other hairdressers, nail techs, eyebrows, so it's a nice like community.
It's literally like a whole beauty community, isn't it? And then you guys can recommend like, oh, you get your eyebrows done, do you want your braids done? You can go here.
Just go next door.
That's actually quite nice. That's quite nice. Okay, cool. So now salon stuff.
Okay.
What are the pros and cons of working with salon staff?
I think I've actually never had an official employee. I've taken on trainees kind of to assist. So I'm supporting my trainees to build their own brands. But I guess you can still class that as like staff and a team.
Yeah, that's staff, yeah.
I think for me, there's a lot more pros and cons. And that's why I wouldn't do something if the cons like outweighed the pros. The pros are it elevates you as like a teacher and a leader. And it helps you have to understand your brand more, because you've got to step out of your comfort zone and explain your brand's values to people that probably don't care about it. Let's say, obviously, luckily I've got people that do, but if you're actually trying to expand and have staff, like, you need to know your own brand. And I think I've learned that the hard way, but I'm glad I've learned it. It's nice to have people around you as well. As a braider, it can be really lonely. And I think it's as I said, I'm bigging up this platform because we can speak specifically about braiders kind of thing. I think different salon structures, I know like I have a braiding salon, but braiding is totally different from any type of salon structure. So yeah, as a braider, it can get really lonely, and it's nice to have staff that you can just talk to, like after you finish the client, you're like, exactly. Those braids took so long, oh my gosh, my back hurts, rather than just like being on your phone and like using Instagram as a way of like, Instagram is a nice safe space because there's like loads of braiders out there and everything, and TikTok, but you need to talk to people kind of thing. So it is really nice. Cons, I don't see them as cons. I just see them as like
learning curves.
Learning curves. So as I said, like, you're responsible for like multiple people. You know, those people could step out of line and like not understand your brand. But I think it's a learning curve because it just means I've got to understand my brand and portray like what MCR Braids is all about to them. So I don't know. I can't think of like cons. Maybe just the general things like you've got to pay them or whatever. I don't know. But it's not really a con because it's all about expanding your business kind of thing. So yeah.
And I fully understand when you say it gets lonely as a braider, because I basically work from home. I have a space set up in my house, and it's especially hard because when you work from home and then you live at home, you just constantly feel like you're in that space, you can't escape. So it is actually nice to like step out and work with others in a nice environment. And I think the best thing is as well is that you're able, because of your skills and your expertise and stuff like that, you're able to actually train them.
Exactly,
which is really nice. It's really nice. And onto your mannequin heads, girl.
Ooh, yes.
Your mannequin heads look really nice actually. I've come across some of them. I've seen them on your Instagram page. And I'm thinking, this looks good, because a lot of the shop ones, you know, you can still get afro hairs in the shop, but I do find that they shed quite a bit.
They shed a lot and they don't revert to like a natural hair texture. So they're already like blow dried, if that makes sense.
And I think did you wash yours as well? You can wash yours. Guys, let me tell you, Lauren's mannequin heads are the best that I've seen personally. I've seen her wash them, condition them, blow dry them, and then they still look amazing after. So if anyone wanted to purchase your mannequin heads or anything, do you like sell them in bulk or do you sell them It's singles or?
So they are launching very soon, and if you do want to find out when we launch, head over to the link in our bio. So our Instagram is Cortex Head, and in the bio, if you sign up, you'll get an email and you'll find out when we launch. We're keeping it like a little secret for now. But yeah, you can buy them singularly. We also want to work with salons and education providers, so you can buy them in bulk as well. We'd be happy to talk, and just drop us an email if anything. But yeah, they'll be available very, very soon. It's a massive project that we're working on. So yeah.
Oh,
very
nice,
exciting.
nice.
Yeah.
What would you like to be remembered for, like, in your journey as a braider, or even just in your personal life? Like,
I think I'd like to be remembered for changing, I don't know, revolutionizing the industry, or at least contributing to the revolution of the industry. Like, I can really sense that braiding is shifting from that kind of, don't get me wrong, the cultural aspect of braiding always needs to stay as a core part of like the industry, but we're shifting from like just culture and vibes to like business and culture. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're standing on business kind of thing now, whereas before a lot of braiders, just like how we started, just done it very casually and didn't really see the business side of it, which is not really anyone's fault. We weren't, as I said, we weren't exposed to that. So I think now what I'd like to be remembered for, and in the future, is helping push that revolution, helping braiders see there is business in this. We are professionals, we are experts, and yeah, just helping to make a change in the industry.
So recently you've done your amazing networking event. I unfortunately missed it, but I heard some great things about it. The turnout was amazing. You had some amazing guests on the show as well. How was that for you?
It was so surreal. Like, it was incredible. I still don't believe it happened. Like, even like during the event, I was like, this is not real. This is a dream. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. But yeah, it was really, really good. So we had over 100 braiders in one room, which has never ever happened before in the UK. And it was just like, it was really nice to just meet people in the industry. As I mentioned before, like, it gets lonely as a braider. So it was nice to meet people and put faces to names, because I've known so many people on Instagram, but never seen them in real life. And then it was just nice to kind of get an insight on the braiding industry from experts in black hair, see what they think about it, see what we can do to move forward. So yeah, I think I've created a nice safe space for braiders.
Definitely a safe space.
Really hoping to do it again this year. So October. And like every year, Black History Month, make it a thing.
Okay, nice. So October is your next planned event. Do you want to tell our listeners where they could find the information on that?
So you can head over to our Instagram, MCR Braids Academy, or MCR Braids, and we'll be posting loads of updates about that. And then you can also go on our website, www.mcrbraids.co.uk, scroll to the bottom of the page, and you will see our sign-up form. And if you sign up to that email list, you'll get loads of updates about our events before we tell the public. So yeah, I'd recommend signing up.
As I've said plenty of times in this podcast, you are an inspiration to many. And there are a lot of people who, like we were saying earlier, haven't quite taken the step or have got the confidence to take the step to become a braider. Do you have any like steps that you would recommend for them to take? Just to like get into it.
Just to, if you haven't had any experience in hair.
No experience in hair, or they've had experience by doing their family's hairs and they kind of want to make a career out of it, or they want to have it as a side job. What from your experience, what advice would you give them, just to give them a little oomph?
Yeah, so I would say, first of all, am I speaking to the camera?
You can do both. You can like go back and forth.
So I would say, first of all, think about what problem you want to solve. And I think a lot of people don't think about that when they start a business. They just like say, cool, I want to braid. So think about what problem you want to solve in the braiding industry, whether that be, okay, not a lot of old people have a safe space for braids. I want to be a braider for 50 plus, or not a lot of kids have a space. I want to be a braider for kids. So think about the problem you want to solve. And then also think about what skills you already have. A lot of people overthink it, and like they're like, oh my gosh, I need to do training in business. I need to do training in X, Y, and Z, marketing, branding. Think about what you're already doing as your 9 to 5. So let's say you work in, I don't know, photography. You already know how to create content. You may think you don't know, but you already know. Or you know a lot of the skills. Or let's say you work in social media marketing. You're like, how am I going to be a braider? That's going to like make you stand out from the crowd because you already know how to navigate social media, let's say. So really have a think about your skills. Personally, from my experience, I worked in like hospitality for a long time. So I've got good customer service skills. I'm good with complaints. I am just bubbly, friendly, open, but I wasn't always that person. And I learned that from my previous jobs. So I think the problem you're going to solve, what skills you already have, and then get educated in Afro hair to some extent. There's now a lot of books that you can get on Amazon. I can let you know like recommendations. Maybe you can
definitely
put it on the screen. Or there's a lot of books you can buy. There are a lot of curl specialists up and coming. So you can definitely take a course with one of them. I'm currently working with Erica from Muse Curls.
Oh, nice.
And she provides beginner Afro hair courses. So understand Afro hair, even if you have Afro hair yourself, understand the hair first. And then I think, just start building from then. Like take courses, take one-to-one. So you offer one-to-ones as well, don't you? Yeah. A lot of braiders now offer one-to-ones, and then start building from there. Don't do too much too soon, but I'd say those few things. I think it's like 5 points.
Yeah. And on one-to-ones, I've seen that you've done like one-on-one sessions, like braiding classes, but you've also done group classes.
Yeah.
Which one do you prefer?
Good question. I think personally groups, only because like one-to-one there's a lot of pressure. Even though that sounds weird because it's like you're speaking to a big group, like don't you feel scared? But I think one-to-one it's like that person's made such an investment, like you've got to give your full self to this course, whereas with a group it's like it's more generic, so it's like quite chill. I do love both though, but I think at the moment my one-to-ones, I can still be a bit nervous. You probably wouldn't know, but deep down, I'm just like, I want the best for this person. So it's a lot more pressure.
Yeah. And that's crazy that you say that because I'm literally the complete opposite.
Really?
I panic. If I was to ever do a group session, like a braiding class, I will panic. Like I have, in my head, I feel like one-on-one, they have like my undivided attention so I can actually zoom in and drill into teaching them what they need to know.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was a group session, I'm basically like scared that I'm not giving my all to the group. So it's nice to actually hear you say that you prefer groups.
Yeah. I think as well, it goes back to what I said about when you start in your braiding business, think about the skills you already have.
Exactly.
So I have a background in performing arts and musical theatre. So like crowds are like, okay, I'm okay with crowds kind of thing. But one-to-one, it's like, oh, can be a bit scared sometimes, but yeah.
Oh, nice. Now, how do you balance working life and personal life? How do you make sure that you're still tending to yourself as well as putting all in for your business as well? Because that can be quite difficult. We can kind of neglect ourselves and just put into our work.
Yeah.
So how do you find that balance, and what do you think will be useful for others to know?
I'll be honest, it's been very hard to find the balance. And I think as an entrepreneur, you're always finding the balance. I don't know how true that is, but that's how I feel at the moment. Because like your commitments always change, and then you've got to like change how you're going to balance that with your life. But I think now I've balanced it by only working certain days. So only braiding certain days. I have a set 2 days off a week always. And I've now reduced my clients to like 1 client a day. So I used to actually take 4 clients a day. I started at 7 a.m. and I finished at 1 a.m. in the morning, 5 to 6 days a week.
That reminds me of back in the
Yeah, crazy.
Not good days.
Crazy, yeah. But I realized, okay, I'm making money, but I can't spend this money. I've got nowhere to go. Like I've got no time kind of thing. So I just thought, I'm going to do 1 client a day. And I really enjoy that because I'm able to give my best self every time. Sometimes when I have that second client or third client, I'm exhausted. Like deep down, I don't want to talk, or I'm maybe going slower, or I'm not as focused. And like I realized that's not fair. It kind of goes back to working at Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
My mindset is if I can't give my all to a thing, I've got to stop doing it. It's just not within me. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel comfortable to not give my all. So definitely figure out what your all is basically, and make sure you're giving that to yourself and your business, if that makes sense. But balance. I feel like I didn't expand on that.
That's fine.
Finding a hobby is really good as well. So I currently do roller skating. I started it in January last year.
Yeah.
I said I was going to be a pro like by June. Not quite. But on my personal
roller skate, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, you know. But yeah, on my personal Instagram, I've got like a little highlight.
Yeah.
My personal Instagram's Lauren the Braider, and I've got a little highlight of like my roller skating journey.
Yeah.
And that's what I do like on the side, just to escape, nothing to do with braiding. And I'm finding that fun at the moment. And then I think, I don't know. That's it at the moment. Just my balance, just having a hobby and setting boundaries with my time towards the business.
Okay, now moving on to you winning the 10K grant from Shea Moisture. That was amazing. How did you feel?
That was just, once again, surreal. Didn't feel real. Like, I just thought, me, like, I'm confused. 10K. Yeah, that was a really surreal moment for me because I didn't actually believe that I'd get it. And I think from that moment, I thought, right, I need to start believing in myself because I'm doing things. It's like there's me and then there's like the me that thinks I can do something kind of thing. And like they were both disconnected basically. Now I am me that believes in myself, like full stop. Because once I got that, I thought, wow, you've actually put the effort in. You did the application. You answered all the questions fully. So you've won the award kind of thing. Like it makes sense, or you're a suitable candidate for the award. But I didn't fully believe that I was. So yeah, it was really surreal and like really eye-opening for me because I just thought, right, the change is happening today. Start pushing for more and believing in yourself. Yeah.
And guys, if you ever want to take that step, if you can see yourself becoming a salon owner, like what steps did you have to take? Because I feel like I've been to, it was the Hair and Beauty Awards, isn't it? The award show. Afro Hair Nation or something like that.
At the Shea Moisture thing?
Yeah.
Or, the Afro Hair and Beauty Live?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I hope that's right.
Yeah, I think it's right.
Yeah.
I went to that show before, so I kind of got like, did you have to like sit in a room, talk with the Shea Moisture founders and all that stuff? So if you could just tell maybe the listeners like your whole process of that, just in case they would want to try it out and try and win the grant.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure. Look into it, but I believe that maybe yearly Shea Moisture do a salon owners fund basically for Black owned salons. And they had like an online application process. So they advertised it on Instagram. That's where I saw it. And then that led me to their online application. They'll ask you a few questions about about your business or what you'll do with the money. And yeah, just fill it out as best as you can, basically. And then they get back to you in a few months, I think. So I think that was it as well. The waiting period, I just thought, like they're not going to reach out to me. But it takes a few months for these things to happen. And then, they reached out, asked me to come to the show. And that's where they gave me like the check and everything. And yeah, it was really nice.
That's really good. And babe, that is such a massive step in your braiding career. So you should be really proud of yourself for that.
Thank you. And I also got a free mentorship session, like alongside the grant. I got a free mentorship session with Jamelia Donaldson from Treasure Tress, which was incredible because she helped me so much put together the Let's Talk Braids event. So in just an hour, we literally planned the whole event, and yeah, it was really good. So built a relationship with Jamelia as well, which was nice.
Treasure Tress as well. She's done her thing there.
Killing it.
Because listen, obviously, especially because I have curly hair, sometimes products work, sometimes they don't, guys. So go and get your boxes from Treasure Chest. I think you can get like 5 items in there. You can choose your own items as well, isn't it? Which is good.
Really good concept, yeah.
Okay, when it comes to clients who are a bit disrespectful and stuff like that, obviously we can't just say how we feel. Could you let braiders know like how they could resolve these kind of situations?
Yeah. I think for me, I always think about, did they offend me personally or did they offend like the business, let's say? I think as braiders, especially if like you're like solo, so you're just working alone, when someone disrespects the business, you automatically like take it to heart, basically. So I think I've found that I've differentiated the two. So for example, let's say someone says, okay, I've come with product in my hair because your policy wasn't clear. I'm not going to say, how dare you disrespect me kind of thing. I'm going to say, right, you're disrespecting MCR Braids. You didn't read the policy. Cool. But if someone says, I don't like you because you're tall, I don't know. Then I'd be like, well, that's nothing to do with my business. Like, you're actually just coming for me, and like, that's disrespectful. So it depends. The conversation depends on which approach, like which form of disrespect the client did to you, if that makes sense. So if it was for to the company, then I'd say, you know, here's how we're going to go about it. Like, can we offer you a refund, or how would you like us to solve it? Like, take the route of the customer is always right. And I know a lot of people disagree with that, but try and respect the customer as much as you can, because they're tapping into the business and what they don't like about the business. But if someone comes for you, then you've got to kind of speak up and say, look, I don't appreciate the way you've spoken to me. Maybe I'm not the hairdresser for you because you clearly have an issue, let's say, with me, not the business. So I think, try not to get offended if someone, just really have a think about what they're tapping into. Are they coming for your business, or are they coming for you as a person? And that will help you to have that business mindset. Because if you really want a big company in the future, and don't get me wrong, my company's not a big company, but I'm thinking in that mindset. We will
get there, guys. She will get there.
Yes, in Jesus' name. So I'm thinking in that mindset. So that's why it's just practice for me, basically. I'm just thinking, okay, cool. MCR Braids is not Lauren. So just chill. And approach it in a calm way.
That's great advice. I've had my fair share of ups and downs. We'll leave that for another day. I might do a podcast where everyone can ask me questions. Cool. So, okay, starting out as a braider, when you first started out, because now I think you've got it all together and you kind of know how to maneuver and how to act with certain situations, what are the do nots that you would recommend? Okay, so for instance, first, me starting out as a braider, firstly, I used to book in a lot of people and not do timings right. Or stuff like that. Or I would, me just being honest, I would cancel a client and then take long to refund them their deposits. So guys, if you're starting out, just please don't do that. If you're going to cancel a client, make sure they receive their deposit straight away. Don't have them waiting. But so what would you kind of recommend not to do?
So I would say, don't be for everyone. And I think I'm saying that from my own experience. I started and I did everyone and anyone's hair. And I think as a beginner, we have a mindset of, I'm going to belittle myself because I don't believe that I am worthy of getting the clients that I actually want. You really need to think about what you want, first of all, rather than like the bare minimum, basically. So you're not going to be for everyone. And I think it's okay to decide that now. It's okay to be a beginner, start from scratch and say, I want to focus on teenagers. I want to focus on women. I want to focus on older people, let's say. So I'd say, definitely don't be for everyone. Policy is really important. So with the cancellation thing, policy is important. And also accountability. Don't set all of these rules and regulations for clients, but not rules and regulations for yourself. So I still do actually. My policy is, if a client comes late, 10 minutes late, it's a 10-minute fee. But if I am late, then I will give you a refund, or I will give you a discount if I can't make up for the time. So if I make up for the time in the end, then it's balanced out, I guess. But if I can't make up for the time, or if I've affected your appointment in any way, I'm going to try and offer a discount, because you still need to have rules and regulations for yourself. And that goes back to the big business mindset. Like, don't think small-minded just because it's only you in the business at the moment. Still think big, and go back to your skills that you got from other jobs, and how would your current 9-to-5 workplace treat a situation like this, and how are you treating it in your brand, if that makes sense. There's a lot of don'ts I can think of, to be fair. Like, policy, not being for everyone. Can't think. This is a do, but it's a don't. So have a separate account for like business, a separate bank account, because things will get messy. Things will get very messy. So I could expand on that. I could expand on that, but I'm actually currently working with an accountant to put together like hopefully anyway, a kind of course masterclass for braiders to understand the finance side of their business. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that will be good. That will be good. At the end of every podcast, I give my guests a chance to ask me 2 questions of choice. It can be personal, it can be career, it can be anything. So yeah.
Since I am the first, or I guess I'm the first, maybe
posting this definitely first. The first.
Yeah, since I'm the first guest, then what made you start this podcast?
This podcast was mainly like a more internal thing for me. So even though I meet people on a regular basis, new people, and you talk with them, you have deep chats, or you may not even talk at all. You may just introduce yourselves and then this chill time from there.
Yeah.
I've always been quite an introvert. So I've never actually like seeing myself on camera. I've never like talking on camera.
Yeah.
And I got to a stage where I thought I actually need to just push myself out there, because I always thought, I'm not good. I'm not going to be good enough to speak on camera. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I feel like the podcast, because originally how it started was I basically was writing a book, and the book was called Life as a Full-Time Braider.
Yeah.
So that would have been just about me and my personal journey, like just how I started braiding, how I dealt with coronavirus and braiding, being a mother of 2 and braiding. But then I had to think, in this current climate, who's really going to sit down and read a book? That's not about self-help, or do you know what I mean? So I thought podcasts are quite popular right now, and I need to kind of build my confidence speaking out.
Yeah. And there's a space for it. Like, you're really filling a gap in the market.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in the UK as well. Like, if you type in like advice for braiders or something on YouTube, it is all Americans. And I think as much as Americans are aspiring, they're just not British. Like, it's a different life that we live. So it's nice that you've created this space.
Yeah. So it's a good space. I feel like it's needed. I feel like it's nice to have other people that are doing the same thing as me come on, give advice to others who may want to do the same thing, and at the same time I'm doing myself internal justice by getting out there and stepping out of my comfort zone. So yeah, that's why I started the podcast.
If you weren't a braider, what would you be and why, like career wise?
This is gonna sound crazy because I can't imagine myself it now, but I probably would have been a footballer.
Really?
Or I probably would have been what do you call those people? They jump off buildings and stuff. What do you call them?
Crazy people?
Are they called thrill seekers or daredevil?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Something to do with that, because as a child, I was quite a tomboy. So I was always playing football. Like, I was in the football tournaments at school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then my secondary school, they was a sports school, so we'll do football, trampolining, rock climbing, all of that stuff. So definitely probably in the sports field.
Yeah.
Or just being crazy and jumping off stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sub question.
Yeah.
Do you still believe that you could be a footballer or a daredevil, even though you're a braider now?
Not a daredevil. Not a daredevil, because I feel like the older I get, the more fearful I get of the things that I wasn't fearful of when I was younger.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you.
A footballer, probably not a footballer. I'd probably want to do something like trampolining.
Yeah.
Because I was really good at trampolining when I was younger. So maybe a trampoline gymnast.
Yeah. I asked that question because I feel like, I don't know, like I'm going through this like, what's the word, like revelation in my life, where I'm like, I could still be the things that I want to be. I could still do the things that I want to do, but incorporate, let's say like braiding's like the main thing. I love performing arts, as I said, in musical theatre. And the other day I got the opportunity of working with Hamilton, the musical.
Oh, nice.
And I did hair for one of the cast members, if you call it.
Is Hamilton quite good? I've seen that everywhere, by the way. Have you seen it?
I actually haven't seen it. Like, I'm more like with the music and just like little clips. Like, I just love it, but I haven't seen it yet. So I still need to get my tickets. But I just thought, wow, like things are kind of aligning. Like, okay, cool. I'm not on the stage, but I'm working with musical theatre. And when I went to uni, I did Spanish and linguistics as well. But obviously I dropped out. But I'm still very passionate about languages. So I feel like somehow I could travel with braiding and like go to a Spanish speaking country and braid there for a bit and like work on my Spanish. So yeah, the reason why I ask you that question is because like I think people get all closed-minded sometimes, not just braiding in general, just like career-wise, and you don't like realize maybe you can align all of your dreams and visions into one in some kind of way. So
no, it's true, and it's all about making the time to do that.
Yeah, I think that's the issue sometimes. It's time, isn't it?
Obviously, I've got children right now, and this is not an excuse, guys, because there's plenty of people with children and they still do multiple things. But for me personally, speaking on my experience doing hair and having kids and stuff, it's like we get stuck in a cycle sometimes. So then we tell ourselves that we don't actually have the time to branch out and do anything differently because we're trying to build the brand around hair and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then we're trying to deal with our kids and home life. And that's the job in itself. Do you know what I mean? So I do understand that. But it is also good to branch out, whether you're branching out within the braiding field or you're branching out and doing something completely different. Because I always think I may wake up one day and be like, I don't want to actually braid anymore. So it's good to actually do something else that you're also excited in. Yeah. I feel like it's good to have different avenues.
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
feel like I'm quite a curious person. And that's also one of the reasons why I started this podcast, is because I'm quite curious. I like to know things about other people and their experiences and stuff. So I feel like that's also a good avenue to take. So if I do want to be like, I'm not saying it's going to bring in the cash, hopefully. But I feel like that is another reason why I probably started it, is because realistically, we can't be braiding past a certain age. Like, who wants to be standing up braiding? Do you know what I mean? It's not realistic. Young people, that's fine, but I feel like no.
No, I get you. And I think even your goals kind of aligns with what I said about, like, you can line everything up with braiding, because you said you're an introvert and you want to step out of your comfort zone and show your face a bit more, which you are doing in this podcast, which you got to this podcast through braiding. So it's like you have like intertwined things together. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, amazing. Well, it's been a pleasure. I'm so happy to meet you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep influencing and inspiring so many people, and give yourself credit for all the people that you inspire, because even though they don't tell you, you are. So once again, could you let our listeners know where they could find you if they just even want to follow your journey?
So my personal Instagram is Lauren the Braider, and that's kind of like documenting my personal journey. And then we've got the Salon Instagram, which is MCR Braids. We have the Academy, which is MCR Braids Academy. And we now have the Cortex Heads, which is the Afro textured mannequin heads. And that's at Cortex Head as well. And then our website is www.mcrbraids.co.uk.
So guys, thanks again for listening. If you would like to find me, all my information will be in the bio below. And can't wait to see you on our next episode.